Hello and welcome back for another episode with your favorite Project Lead the Way teacher, Mr. Spaeth. Today we're going to be talking about Autodesk Inventor navigation. In order for me to communicate that to you, I'm going to share my desktop so you are seeing what I am seeing. So the first thing we need to do, I want you to go back. I'm going to cancel out of my open Autodesk Inventor and go back in, show you guys where I want you to go. So this time, I just want us to go to a new part. Okay, and we're just going to make just a very, very simple drawing. What I want to do is just make a little sketch. Let's say I want it on that plane. I'm going to make a circle at the origin here. It doesn't matter how big. Finish my sketch and extrude it. Let's say an inch. That sounds good. Okay. Okay. You'll notice over in my browser a couple of different things. And for those of us following along on worksheet 4.1D in Software Modeling Introduction for Project Lead the Way, we are on number 4B. Okay. So in my part file, I find features, which is the same as this extrude command. This is a feature of my part, and a sketch that is associated with that feature. So we have a feature and a sketch. Very important that we know that. So if I wanted to change up my sketch at all, say make this bigger, I could go into my sketch and notice it changes my feature as well. So all I had was one simple sketch, a circle, and then an extrusion. An extrusion just gives, in this case, it gave my part height. Okay. So we have features over here in our browser, and we have sketches. Same thing can be said. Let me just open up a part of my own. I'm just going to look at my USB drive right here. I'm going to open up an assembly. Okay, this is the assembly of my finished puzzle cube. Now you'll notice over here, in my assembly view, I put all of my different parts in my assembly file, and then we call them constraining them together. So what you're going to find over here is this is my red piece, so that's my part. And then down here where you see flush, what I did is I flushed together this surface with this surface so that my part does not move. Notice I can't move my part at all because it's flushed to 3 different surfaces. It can't move in any direction, X, Y, or Z. So this we would call a constraint. So I put a constraint. I went over here to a flush constraint, and then I just selected the 2 surfaces, and it added this constraint on there. Okay. Next thing we have, the question is, how do we display the browser if it has disappeared? Now I did go through that one last time, but again, let's make our browser disappear. The way we can get this back, because it would be really, really hard to see what we're doing if it's not there. We'll go to View, go to User Interface, and click on Browser, and there it's back. All right. Let's see. If we want to change what's over on our Quick Access toolbar, one of the things we can do is click on this little arrow, and let's say we wanted the print button on our Quick Access toolbar, which would actually be really nice. But we can add it just by clicking on this little drop down and checking the ones that we want on there. Let's say we don't really care if clear is on our Quick Access toolbar. We can take it off, or we can put it back on. Okay, so that's a way that we can help navigate ourselves when going through Autodesk Inventor. The biggest navigation tool, though, that we have is our view cube. And we have it right here. Notice when I click on my view cube, it rotates my part. Play around with this a little bit. You can click on edges, you can click on corners, you can click on surfaces. Very, very, very important that we know how to use this. When I click on home, there's a specified place that I called home. Now, let's say I wanted to call this corner. Oh, let's pick a better corner actually. Let's say I wanted to pick this corner of my home. I would right click on my view cube. I would go to set current view, or sorry, set view as home from a fixed distance. And now we can screw ourselves up here a little bit and just go home, and it goes back to where we are. Okay. Another thing we can do is just click on it and drag it around. Okay. So if we want some kind of complicated views a little bit, we can use our view cube to just navigate around a little bit. Very, very important that we know how to use that. We also have our navigation bar. And our navigation bar, now there's a little navigation wheel we can use. If I use orbit, my orbit tool can help me to move this around a bit. Now I can use my zoom view if I want to go in or out. I find that this is much more difficult to work with. What I use instead, whenever I want to move things from side to side like this, I click in on my scroll bar on my mouse. So not my right or left click, but the scroll bar in the middle. I click on it, hold it, and I move it around. If I want to select things, obviously I'm using my left click. If I want to select things differently, I use my, my right button, cuts through and then selects things. But this navigation bar can be really, really important for just, we can click on it and pan this way instead of using our scroll tool on our mouse. If you don't have it, that'd be a good way to do it. And then zooming in and out, you just use your scroll wheel on your mouse as well to zoom in and out. So practice that, and this way you can really get wherever you want. When looking at different views, a lot of times I often just use my view cube, but I will every now and then hold shift down and then use my scroll tool. I'll click it and hold it in, and then I can kind of go wherever I want to. So while holding shift down, I can rotate this around instead of, if I don't hold shift down and I use my scroll tool by clicking it in, it moves this way. If I hold shift down, then I can rotate around. Really, really easy way to navigate. If I want to get back home, again, I just use my home tool. Okay. The buttons F2, F3, F4, F5, and F6, I don't use that often, but F2 is pan, F3 is zoom. If I want to zoom in or out, I can just use then my my left click button to zoom in and out if I'm holding down F2. F4 is my free rotate, so again I can just use my left click button to free rotate by holding F4 down. F5 is return to a previous view, this view being my home view. And then F6 is return home, so if I screw myself up here pretty good and I click F6, notice I return home. Again, I don't use those often, but they can be really, really helpful. All right. Look forward to my third and last video dealing with Autodesk Inventor. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Let me know if you did in the comments section below. But like, link, share, or subscribe so I can keep bringing you more videos on Autodesk Inventor and Project Lead the Way. Thanks.